Anyone who has been paying attention to what Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway has been doing lately will know that they've made some interesting moves in the stock market. They've recently come out and made big investments into pharmaceutical stocks. Now, we all know that these pharma stocks are the ones developing vaccines for the world illness that has spread to almost every country. This means there is a lot of potential profit on the table for the companies that develop cures and sell it worldwide. This has left a lot of investors, including Buffett and his team, intrigued at the potential amount of money to be made. In this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the exact companies that Berkshire Hathaway decided to invest in, and then we'll get a bit deeper into the reasons why. So Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's investing firm, bought 21 million shares of AbbVie, 22 million of Maersk, 3.7 million shares of Pfizer, and nearly 30 million shares in Bristol Myers Squibb. This was as per his 13F filings that his company is required to release. This means every investor can look at what he's buying. The interesting thing is that Pfizer, the company that has a vaccine, has been his smallest investment out of the pharma stocks. Berkshire invested under $150 million in this, which to most people, I know that's a massive investment. To Berkshire Hathaway, it's some loose change found in the wallet. And I know a lot of people do look to make similar investments to Buffett. I don't think it's a dumb strategy, but you do need to do your own research and understand each stock. I cannot stress this enough. But for those who do want to know, AbbVie can be bought for just under $100 per share, which comes with an extremely nice dividend of 5.3%. Any long-term Cooper Academy followers will know that this has been on my buy-in list. Pfizer sells for $36 a share. They're the company that has the vaccine. Bristol Myers Squibb sells for $62 a share. And lastly, Maersk sells for $80 a share. So it's not like any investor can't afford these. Anyone can buy into these companies. You just have to decide if they're a good enough investment or not. That's where you want to analyze, why did Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway decide to plow billions into these pharma stocks? And I'm not sure if you guys have been following Buffett for a while, but for those that have, they will know that he has teased the idea of buying big pharmaceutical companies before. Back in 1997, Buffett said at his annual shareholder meeting that you could have just bought the whole industry and done very well. We didn't do it, it was a mistake. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's right-hand man, agreed with that, later saying, "We stupidly blew that one." But fast forward to 2020, it looks like Berkshire made sure that they didn't blow this opportunity. As the saying goes, you gotta learn from your history, learn from your past, or you're doomed to repeat it. Berkshire have sunk more than $5 billion into these 4 pharma stocks that I just went through. But you might rightfully ask the question, why didn't they just buy one pharmaceutical stock and invest heavily into that? I mean, Berkshire's known for picking great individual companies in a sector and making a lot of money. Apple, Coca-Cola, Geico, etc, etc, etc. However, if you dig deep into the archives, we can see why Buffett has made this decision. Back in 1999, Buffett said he did not have the specialist skill to pick any individual pharmaceutical stock. But for him, betting on the industry as a whole was the way to go. He said in 1999, if we could buy a group of leading pharmaceutical companies at below market multiple, I think we'd do it in a second. It's hard to evaluate the individual companies, but that's no reason not to have a basket approach to the industry. And that's the approach that Berkshire have gone with now. 20 years later, they've bought a basket of different pharma stocks instead of singling out just one. And I'll tell you one of the investment theses behind buying pharma stocks. First of all, we've got to look at valuation levels. If we look at Pfizer 5 years ago, it was selling for $32 a share. Today, it's selling for only a couple of dollars more than that. Bristol Myers Squibb is selling for less than what it was selling for 5 years ago. Maersk and AbbVie have gone up by 50 and 60% respectively. The entire market, however, has gone up by over 70%. So one could easily argue that these pharma stocks are selling at a discounted price. As Buffett said back in the day about pharmaceutical stocks, at some valuation level, it would be something we would think very hard about. And Buffett continued, and it's something where we could put quite a bit of money if it happened, which is another plus to us. It appears that today these pharma stocks, at least for Berkshire, are selling at an attractive valuation level at prices that they consider attractive. So you've got, let's say, cheap prices, but the other thing is you've got a lot of potential for growth in this current environment. We all know that the world more than ever needs vaccines and solutions to problems, and these pharma companies are the ones who are looking to solve them. This creates enormous potential revenue for these companies. Low prices, high potential growth, that's something that every investor is a fan of. Well, every smart investor, let's just say that. So that's one of the bull cases to buy in pharma stocks, and of course there's plenty more. But there's also some bear cases out there as well. So that's up to you to decide which you align with, then make your own decision. Of course, never just go with what someone else is going with. Go with your own opinion after weighing up the facts. Okay, now I want to talk about the other stocks that Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway has been buying and selling as of late 2020. We'll start with the buys. We'll start with the positives. They bought a further 85 million shares of Bank of America. That's an increase of 9.2%. Berkshire also bought a completely new stock that they've never bought before, T-Mobile, the internet company. They bought 2.4 million shares in this stock worth $275 million. They also added 7.1% to their General Motors position and 13.8% to their Kroger position, the supermarket company. However, one of the most interesting buys along with the pharma stocks was Berkshire's investment in Snowflake's IPO. Snowflake, for those who don't know, is the cloud-based data warehousing company. Instead of having to store everything with your own hardware, corporate users can store and analyze data online with Snowflake. It's revolutionary technology, we'll just say that. And Berkshire, who never invest in IPOs, they invested in Snowflake at the IPO price of $120. Since then, it has traded for about $250. So Buffett's Berkshire has already made some good money with this investment. Okay, let's get into the stocks that Berkshire sold now. The biggest sell was in the company Apple, where 36.3 million shares were let go of. That's a reduction of 3.7% of Berkshire's total Apple position. Then, two bank stocks, Wells Fargo and JP Morgan, had their positions reduced as well. 110 million and 21 million shares, respectively, were sold. But for me, the most interesting sale for the quarter was the $1.5 billion worth of Costco that was sold. For those who don't know, Costco has been a big investment for Charlie Munger over the years. Essentially, his entire net worth for the Munger family, they own three stocks: Berkshire Hathaway, Leilu's Fund, and Costco. But Berkshire Hathaway, they no longer hold any Costco shares. That's been completely sold out of. As well as this, they sold another financial stock called PNC Financial Services. 3.43 million shares were sold here. That's a reduction of 64%. So Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway has been doing both, buying and selling. They've got rid of some bank stocks, some Apple, some Costco, and they've deployed some capital into pharma stocks. I think this is a smart idea. I think pharma stocks are going to play a big role in the world, especially over the next 5 years, and investment in these companies, I don't think it's a dumb plan. But because each of these pharma companies are investments under $2 billion, it's likely that they were done by Buffett's two main investors, either Ted or Todd Combs. Both of these guys follow Buffett's value investment style of buying good quality businesses for cheap prices.